Right. Good evening, guys. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, we were meant to have an interview with Thomas Mapfumo. We were supposed to get his reaction to the speech today by the new president of the Republic of Zimbabwe. But due to challenges connecting him on Facebook, we've moved the interview with Thomas Mapfumo to tomorrow. He just asked for a platform to have his views known. So tonight, what I've decided we can do is just chat amongst ourselves and just get your reaction. What did you make of what the new president had to say? So you know the drill, guys. If you want me to add you, just write on my comments mode add, and we'll get your thoughts on the matter. But yeah, it was quite a long speech by the new president. A lot to ponder. Certainly, it was more mature, I would think, than the first one he gave at the ZANU-PF headquarters Mswe Wednesday. So this one was, almost a better one, so to say. But like we always say, this is not about me, it's about you guys. So I invite you to share your thoughts. Andichika. The interview in Mapfumo will be tomorrow, so we'll have it done tomorrow. Just getting your reaction, really. Here we go. Okay, so I'm inviting you guys to join me and give us your reaction. We just want to find out what you made of the speech. Enisia Mashusha watching, yes, thank you for joining us. Stevie Kwechi Machiavelli Fe. Freeman Chari wants to join the broadcast. Former student leader, yes. Make sure your phone is on landscape. Freeman, you'll be able to join us. This is your show, guys. I just come here, I provide the platform, and we talk. So yeah, getting Freeman Chari to join. Just let me know if you want to join, guys. Mr. Chari, thank you for joining us, Dave.
Apanapa, zviri sei?
Moshe, man. Good to hear from you after a long time.
Yeah, well, I was trying to understand and, spend my time pondering on what is happening in my country, though.
And it's weird. Everyone was willing to pretend this was not a military coup. And yet it was a military coup.
Yeah, it was, and everybody knows. I think one of the things that happened was everybody knew it was a military coup, but they were also trying to take the legal routes, because I saw today the High Court actually rubber stamped this and said, well, it was legal.
I know. You knew there was trouble when General Chiwenga had that the first press conference on ZTV, and he started by quoting from the Constitution. You almost knew that these guys were definitely going to try and work within the law as much as possible.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you listen to the speech, Nas? What did you make of the speech from the new president?
So here's the thing. I listened to the speech, and honestly, the speech was spot on. I think he touched on the issues that we have always been fighting for. He was kind of measured, and I felt that sense that he understands what's going on, and he probably understands the sentiments within the opposition and even the sentiments amongst the Zimbabweans. So what I don't know, though, is his commitment to following through to all the things that he has said. Because remember, Jonathan Moyo one time said he cannot legislate himself out of power. And I don't know if Mnangagwa would be willing to put himself out there and risk losing power, because the elections, obviously, he said we are going to have elections, and probably they're due next year in about 6 months, right? and I'm not sure if he is in a position right now to say, okay, I'm just going to have a free and fair election. The field will be level, and I can take the risk and lose and hand over power, right? But
A lot of people are asking, let me throw this at you, Freeman.
mhm,
Mnangagwa in his speech today said, let bygones be bygones. A lot
mhm,
of people feel it's fair, it's fine to say that, but you need to start with an apology.
yes. So Emerson Mnangagwa has been there for 37 years, right? And he was there as Minister of State Security when all the atrocities happened in Matabeleland. He was also there as the Minister of Defense when all the things that happened in 2008, right? So he has been there. He has been part and parcel of the system that has been brutal to the people of Zimbabwe. But right now, I feel like he has pushed all the blame to the person who was leading, right? But he was in charge of the state apparatus during the most brutal times of our country. So personally, I would have thought he would have come out and said, you know what, guys, I am sorry, but that word does not exist in the ZANU-PF dictionary. They don't apologize, right? But it would have been fair if he had gone there and said, I am sorry for the things that happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we want to move forward. The same way he said he was going to consider compensating people who lost land, there should have been other considerations on people who have lost beloved ones and who have also lost a lot. I would have thought he would have said, we are going to restitute all the properties that were forcibly taken from ZAPU by Mugabe in 1983, right? But he didn't touch on that part. But look, the war veterans, the ZIPRA war veterans themselves they are living as paupers, right? But they had invested their money in Nitram Investments, which was a private equity arm of ZAPU. But that was confiscated by Mugabe. He didn't come out and say anything about it, but he was at the forefront of the seizure of those properties around 1983.
Final question for you. Does it feel
Mhm.
like this is a choice between human rights and economic prosperity? Because surely if we wanted to judge this new administration based on human rights, Emerson Mnangagwa is the last person who could be considered an angel. So do Zimbabweans really have to decide and say we want economic prosperity, let's ignore his past?
So here's my take always.
Uh-huh.
It's hard to be democratic with with an empty stomach. It's so hard to be democratic that way. You know, first of all, as humans, we we care about our stomach first, and then everything else later. So I think at this point, Zimbabweans are hungry. They don't have money in the banks. They don't have jobs. So here is a hope for them that maybe things will change. It is at that point when our stomachs are full, when we can go to the banks and get our money. It is at that point that probably we'll start pondering about human rights. But right now, I think it is all about self-preservation and just necessity. People are accepting this guy Emerson Mnangagwa out of necessity, and you
Okay.
will not hear anybody talking about human rights at this point.
Okay, that's Freeman Chari joining us all the way from the United States, former student
Thanks, man.
leader. Thank you, Mkoma Chari.
All right, thanks, man.
Okay, Freeman Chari giving us his views. Okay, I've got Farai Mtangadura. He wants to join. I'm adding you, Farai Mtangadura. Just make sure your phone is on landscape. I'll try and get as many of you guys to give us your reaction to Mnangagwa's speech. Farai Mtangadura, just make sure your phone is on landscape. You'll be able to connect with us. Right. While we are waiting for Farai Mtangadura, I'll read a few comments. Anzina Plaxi Shumbas. The opposition will find it harder to come back after Mnangagwa's speech. Okay. There we go. Farai Cheuka says, let's give the man a chance. We're waiting for Farai Mnangagwa to join us. Mtaru Kwamai, where is the money? The same politicians have been stealing money from people. They own a lot of farms and they own diamonds. Yep. Okay, Farai, I don't know why. Okay, let's have Dewa Mavinga joining us. Dewa Mavinga joining us. Make sure your phone is on landscape, Mkoma Dewa, so that you can join us. Okay, guys, this is your platform. Let's do this. Dewa Mavinga, should you say Mkoma?
Mkoma Lance Navy.
Apana. My material speech nas.
Yeah, speech tainzwa.
Okay. What are your thoughts on that speech?
As I expected, not so much on human rights, but I think the key focus was on investment, economic revival, neku compensate my white farmers.
You end up black. I don't know if you end up murima or you just prefer kutara Singapore.
I don't know what's happening. I'm actually learning.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, so I'm not
you
sure.
can continue. It's okay. Hopefully, we'll see your face later.
Okay, yeah. I think there is nothing on human rights or on my fundamental reforms ahead of elections. And I think that this is where it's critical. The only area in terms of budget that Mnangagwa mentioned was to say he would want to strengthen the security forces capacities. So it shows Guti Munari anopa legitimacy and allegiance to the security forces. And that's where the danger lies. Because, we have been looking at 8 cases of the brutality, the torture of people like former Minister of Finance Ignatius Chombo, the properties, houses of Jonathan Moyo, Kasukwere under siege, under military siege, armed soldiers. And all these things are happening outside the glare of the public. This is how Gukuraunde happened. So we must be very careful. Of course, economic development, of course, jobs, but we need an open and democratic space. We need to have people go back to my elections so that legitimacy is the barrel of the gun, but the ballot box. The ballot must be the source of legitimacy in a modern day Zimbabwe. So we really need to ensure that we focus and say, yes, development, yes, jobs, yes, the economy, but also, yes, freedoms. People must be free. Military junta is not the way to go.
So do you think, Kuti, I was listening to Tendai Biti giving an address in South Africa, and okay, I think we've just lost Mkoma Dewa. Hopefully we'll get him back. We'll hopefully get him back. I wanted to ask him something. Okay, who else wants to be add? Okay, Farai Mnangagwa. Dewa. Okay, Farai Kuti, I can't add you for now. I'll keep trying. KD, I think the opposition have a party. Why? Because Mnangagwa has a lot to change, e.g. electoral reforms. Those things will define his colors. Okay. We're getting Dewa back. Okay, just make sure you're on landscape. Guys, phone yako has to be on landscape to join. Okay, we're dissecting Emmerson Mnangagwa's speech. Is there hope for Zimbabwe? Okay, Dewa.
Yes.
Right. Takuona now waenda pani light up ameno. Okay. Again, we've lost Davunza light but to disappear completely. Okay, Prosper Karuru, I'm adding you there. Make sure your phone is on landscape, guys. What do you make of speech here, Emmerson Mnangagwa? I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard it. Let's hear what you think. Okay, there's a lot to dissect there. He talked a lot about compensating my white farmers. He stressed though land reform is not reversible. He talked about getting support from the international community, returning Zimbabwe to the community of nations. He talked about letting bygones be bygones, but I spoken to a lot of people who think he should have apologized for his role in some of the massacres in Zimbabwe, because you can't just say let bygones be bygones. I think it's something that's probably up to the victims to determine. But yeah, let's see. Trying to add Jumkoma Zwaramba po. Let's see who else I can add. Edson Maposa. Anzina Edson Maposa. Okay, Edson wants to join us. So yeah, disappear Edson. Okay. Edson, I'm adding you there. Just put your phone on landscape, Edson. Anyway, your question, if I'm reading it, Hans, why is it Churi hasn't been arrested yet? Police have been stealing from people on daylight. Can you ask this question, please? Okay, Edson Maposa, thank you for joining us.
Hello, sir. Hey, my name is Edson.
So, did you say?
The speech, I believe it was spot on. But there are just like few issues that I didn't understand or that were not answered. The first question is like, the issue of police officers in Zimbabwe. Imagine from...
Okay, Mkoma Edson, volume is a bit low, so I'll ask you to speak up a bit.
Okay, let me just try to put it on loudspeaker. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yes, Chingotaura, just use a Grace Mugabe voice. Speak louder.
No, I will use our former. What I wanted to ask.
Okay, so what were you saying?
What I wanted to ask is like, there are people like Chihuri. Why is it like he wasn't even mentioned or he hasn't been arrested? Yet his guys have been like stealing from people on daylight.
Okay, I think the new president was talking about, the new president talked about clamping on corruption, didn't he? He clamping down on corruption.
Yes, but you call a spade, is it? When you say corruption from the top, you should have like nailed the very top chief suspect.
But it's also interesting Kuti Mnangagwa can talk about corruption and have Obet Mpofu smiling next to him on stage. It's weird, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And of which, if ever he wants to stamp out corruption, you should start from the leader, going down right through. You can't just start from the lower ranks people going up. If you want to nail and wipe corruption, you have to start from the very top.
Okay. So where are you calling us from? Where are you?
I'm from the UK.
Oh, from the UK. No, thank you, Mkoma. Thank you so much. Take care.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that's Edson Maposa joining us from the UK. Okay, who else wants to join? Mutaru Kwamai, our security forces cannot be trusted. The army are corrupt. They clearly showed the citizens that our country is controlled by army. Therefore, if things don't go their way, they will abuse powers of the army. Oliver Maha, trying to aid you, Redman. Okay. Let me know, guys. If you want me to aid you, just write aid up. Okay. Mkoma Dewa, we need you to answer our points. Trying to aid you again. Make sure your phone is on landscape. Dewa Mavinga makes a point. Anti Mnangagwa will support development but not human rights. That's the question I'm asking. Are we choosing development over human rights? Can we get development and human rights at the same time, or is one or the other? Mukadama human rights, there is no development. Mukadama development, there is no human rights. Is that the question for you, Zimbabwean? Zimbabwe, I mean, can we demand both those things? Okay, we're trying to add Dewama Vinga back. And the Jefferson Mujokoto, admission of guilt is a defined way Brighton kunaka hove, human rights and development goes hand in hand. Okay. Farai Mtangadura, I'm now adding you. Make sure you're on landscape. Let's go. Okay. I'll try and give everyone 2 minutes. Titi gaga. Okay. Farai Mtangadura. Did you say?
The plans, what is it?
Panapa. You watched the speech. What do you make of it?
Yeah, so I'm phone number chitama one. A speech the owner.
Tukukuona
I
loud.
wanna get it wanaoka.
Tukukuona nicely.
Yeah. Speech the owner. And this guy. Wanakwenda kuvari kutanzi 7 tukujamba criticize uti. Nothing is gonna come out of this kind of shit. It's here when you look at history and this guy, it becomes very difficult to trust some poor opportunity. Right. Yes, the speech was it's a very good speech, and it shows is someone who is ready to do business, right? But me, I think like what is gonna show us like if it really means what he's saying is the cabinet is gonna form. I think that's the main thing. Because if you find which cabinet open for again, no one knows. Everyone knows that we're gonna blow building is a blow they are opening both, and it. So if you find that guy again in government, what does it tell? And it's because these are the guys who are corruption. Everyone knows. You don't have to be a politician to result in open for corruption and this. But government, government market, it will tell volumes about what is goes where, and it's because you have to realize this has been a war of factions, and it's saka faction ya win and we are pinned, and it saka apakana if it really means what has been saying in the speech, it's gonna be the company is gonna form, is the one who's gonna speak volumes about his objectives and it. But speech on everything, like I think he hit the key elements, like what the international community was waiting to hear, and it because it touched issues about like compensation of land to the whites, and he is trying to distance himself like from Mugabe policies and it. But at the end of the day, if you really want to, Mugabe is not the one who's been responsible. Mugabe and it for the past 7 years. These guys have been behind Mugabe, and it. Saka people are saying like why people. It's not like people were skeptic. Everyone wants development in Zimbabwe and it, but these guys they have to prove themselves. Otherwise, until they prove themselves, we're always gonna question them and it. And I'm saying
I think it's good to question our leaders because I think my PR officers. That's when we get abused as citizens. I think my citizens who are willing to question our leaders because at the end of the day, leaders are servants of the people. They are not our bosses.
Yeah. Because I was also listening to Mtuma Mawere. He was on this program in South Africa, ANN, and he was making a very good point. Like democracy is built by not trusting, and it's because people, if we trust Mugabe when he came in 1980, everyone put trust in Mugabe, and they forgot what's happening politically. Because I noticed up to when MDC was formed, no one was being active in politics in Zimbabwe because everyone was saying like we are waiting for ZANU-PF and it. So these leaders, they always we need to keep them in constant check and it. We need to always publicly criticize them so that they know what's going on. And so there's no I'm all for like don't trust everyone because he's the one he's the one replacing Mugabe, but don't trust this guy because take some trust, right? That's why you will always be a distrust, right? Because you know what people want. But if everyone is going to be our savior and we forget, the same system is gonna repeat itself. And
that's true.
So yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, and
so where are you, Farai? Farai Urugubi, Urutibata Urugubi.
I'm in Russia. I'm a student. I'm Petersburg.
Oh, is it? Could you say we understand Russia is very nasty when it comes to issues of racism.
But I would say like because I came here in 2014, and I would say like it's not as nasty as people think. Because if you come to like where I'm staying, Petersburg. Because Petersburg, if you consider, it's like close to Europe, and people there, their minds are already like a bit open. Like, yeah, I think this is stereotypical Russia. Russia. Yes, you will find elements of someone maybe that often, right? So for me, I've been
So
like
you're saying,
for me.
yeah. So are you saying once in a while you do get racially abused?
Once in a while, you get those funny comments, like someone just to seeing a black person and just trying like call you like a nigger, something like that.
Okay.
But I've realized in Russia, because they've most of them now, they are now watching Western movies, right? So they see in movies people calling each other black people niggers and stuff. So for them, it's like it's a sort of way of they are adoring you and something. So it depends on
Okay.
on what kind of person are you, right? Sometimes you might get
Context.
offended.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
All right, Farai.
but
Thanks for joining us, guys.
okay, Lance,
Iribo.
go on. Uh-huh.
Okay, that's Farai Mtangadura all the way from Russia. Okay, guys, let's see who else wants to join us. Patience Joshua Bepenlea. He spoke about development, but he is surrounded by thugs and thieves. We want to see a transformation. Chihuri was booed by the public. Mnangagwa was listening also. All right. Okay, who else wants to join? Mtaru Kwamai, they focused on this. Wouldn't agree with them. Dewa Mavinga Ed model of development could be Rwanda or Ethiopia. Okay. There we go. I'm trying to get Dewa back again. Mkoma Dewa all the way in South Africa. He works for Human Rights Watch. Interesting comments. I'm trying to add you again, Mkoma Dewa. If you can join us while I read comments and see who else wants to join. Plaxi Shumba's anti-corruption in ZRP must be addressed. Okay. There we go. Patience Joshua Penlea Ed. Okay, I'm adding you there. Just make sure your phone is on landscape, guys. Let's do this. If your phone is on landscape, you connect, no problem. Okay, while we wait for patience. Tinos Chimondo, I'll add you. Let's just give patience a chance to one. Is there anything happening there? Okay, Greg Ura Mutsindikwa, the speech was spot on, but we're still waiting for actions to follow. He needs to fire some ministers. Patience, how are you doing?
Yeah, I can't see you. Yeah, Muri right.
Mushe. What did you make of
Yeah,
today and the speech?
Can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Yeah, but I can't see you. Your phone is blank now.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, just talk.
Yeah, the speech Mnangagwa, it was a speech yeku yangeri right ningadaro for the public and the international public. Kuti vanhu vafunge kuti kune reform yaitika muZimbabwe. Chinhu chatakafanira kuti tingwarire navaMnangagwa is one. Mnangagwa was a right-hand man yaMugabe for more than 37 years. It's still good 37 years because they've been in Zimbabwe for 37 years after independence, but that's before then. And so chirikuitika, he has to change vanhu vari mugovernment, especially mugovernment yeZANU, because wese munhu anopinda muZANU anopindira kuba. Hapana any development yachaita akakomberedzwa nembavha. It's only those words. Kana uchinyenga mukadzi zvaunotaura zvese unotaura zvakanaka kuti udiwe. Anditi? Kana watodiwa hauchisina basa naye mukadzi wayo. You don't even try kuti unoona. Ndiyo inoitwa naMnangagwa.
Yeah, so
and then the other thing yaita is we were expecting kuti
munhu wese anga akatarisa and he said the right
sorry
things, but by implementation apa panogona kusaitika anything.
Muri kundinzwa?
Tiri kunzwai perfectly.
Okay, if we were expecting inina Bulili Mamangwe, I'm from Plumtree. We got a border post yakazara mbava zega zega. From police to immigration to everything. Atina kana even a road, but border post ye Plumtree ndio the main border post the Kutera Bed Bridge. So we were expecting kuti iye achataura futi in terms of Gukura Wundi. But apana zvataura. Unoona?
Tanzwa ari kuti hanzi
Handichakunzwa Moshe.
hanzi ati paspeech yake let bygones be bygones. Hanzi let's forget what happened in the past. Hanzi let's not
That's
be
not
trapped by the
that's
past.
that's not appropriate. For vanhu vakafirwa nehama dzavo, you cannot just apologize like that. Ipo paya paya ndiko kwanga akafanira kuti aibate ati vanhu vekumatebeleland toziva zvakaitika tokumbira ruregerero. Not kuti ataure in that way kunge ari kutaura kuti munhu I don't know, I don't understand. No understand. That's not a proper way of reconciliation kuti akumbire ruregerero kuvanhu vematebeleland. In 1993 in March ukatarisa chronically he went to Matebeleland again. Akati kuvanhu vematebeleland mese muri kuti makashungurudzwa nemadissident makafanira kupiswa. So people vachamurespect sei vanhu vari kutomutya. We don't trust Mnangagwa. And handisi kuona zvaari kutongotaura kuti ichinhu chichaitika. Also chinhu chatakafanira kuti ti understand as Zimbabweans chiri one. There is money yakambotaurwa naPresident Mugabe, which is almost about 12 billion or whatever.
15
that
billion.
Money is the money yakonzeresa all this thing between him and Chiwenga yakabatwa uko kuChina uko. That's the money yakonzeresa all this havoc yaitika iyi, because maChina vairamba kurelease mari vachida kuirelease kuZimbabwean government. Andite mari yemadiamonds yekuchiwedza mine, andite ndiyo mari yakonzeresa all these things, except akatora mari yaiya otoshandisa iyo manje kana China ikarelease that money ndiyo mari yaachashandisa kubuilda maroads and so forth kuti titi Mnangagwa vaita something. Otherwise handisi kuona anything. And also kana kuri kuchibuildwa government ngavaite transformation vadzinge vese vana mpofu vaya mpofu is the biggest thief is owning Bulawayo. Mabuildings ese ari muBulawayo ndeyampofu. So tiri kutaura chii? Maplazi ndeyavana mpofu. Tiri kutaura chii nezvecorruption? Hapana. So tiri kutomupa just a week or two tione kuti where does he start. Then from there Zimbabweans will start kutanga kugununuka.
Let me ask you one final question. As a woman, how do you feel about Grace Mugabe's contribution to this whole crisis?
Madi?
What do you make of contribution of Grace Mugabe to this whole crisis? I'm just interested in your thoughts as a woman on Grace Mugabe.
And this break. I don't know what's going on. I can't even see you.
No, just your thoughts on Grace Mugabe. We just want to get your thoughts on Grace Mugabe as a woman.
Grace Mugabe, to me, she wasn't representing any woman in Zimbabwe. Grace Mugabe, what we have to understand, akatora murume wemwe mukadzi. Akadanana na Mugabe while my Sally she was still alive. So iyo yakaitwa na Mugabe yange ri polygamy yange ri bigamy chihure unonzwa. So her behavior haisi kurepresenta vakadzi, mukadzi wemuZimbabwe, mukadzi chaiko tinoti mukadzi wa president. Because from me hakuna chandakadzidza muna Grace except kutuka. Unaona? Ndakadzidza kuti you stand there and insult people and she's owning a lot of things. Munhu we-lavish. Vanhu vachitambura, vachifa nenzara, but here she was living a lavish life and achituka vanhu, which is wrong. Unaona? So there is nothing andingataura nezva Grace. Grace, she's a none kwandiri, she's zero.
Okay, so you are joining us Murukupi Mimi. Where are you reaching us from?
Mari?
That Murukupi, where are you joining us from?
I'm calling the UK.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you so much for your time,
United Kingdom in
patience.
England.
Ah, okay. Thank you for your time, patience.
Inini my last word yandiri kupa vanhu veZimbabwe Lance ndiri kuti vanhu ngavaende kunoregister vavote.
Okay.
Let's not sit back tomirira kuti okay Mnangagwa apinda, and then let's stop this hero worshipping thing semaZimbabweans, because our problem yatinayo toita hero worshipping, and izvozvo zvinotoita kuti vanhu vatidherere. Let's try to think kuti tabva kupi toda kuenda kupi sevanhu veZimbabwe. Taneta tatambudzika izvozvo togara musango. I only go home once in a while and I miss my family so much. Asi kuti ndoda kugara musango just because of the situation iri kumusha. Unoona? So we have to start izvozvo zvitoita culture yekuti tokudza mhuri dzedu, hatisi kukudza president. President akaemployiwa nesu vanhu. We have to understand that. Toziva kuti izvozvo ane army akamira nearmy tichatyika kuti totyika army, but the world is watching. Let's try it. That test independence yedu, that test freedom yedu. Let's carry on. Let's this chamire kuti uriwe ZANU, uriwe MDC, uriwe chi. We are one Zimbabweans. Totenga mushopu imwe chete. Totambudzika tese. Vana school fees totambudzika tese. Let's not be used by people vanoda kufulfill my interests avo. Let's work as one, as Zimbabwe people. Attend andije. Saka, I love you all. Well done, everybody. Let's keep going. Tisa relax. Let's not relax. Let's not sit back. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
That's the last.
That's
Thank you very much.
Patience, Joshua Vepenlea. Thank you so much. Okay, well, very good speaker there. Okay, guys. Let's see who else wants to join. Jarvis Henry, I'm adding you, my brother. Just make sure your phone is on landscape. That's all you need to do. Yeah, we're just reflecting on the speech by the new president, Emmerson Mnangagwa. What did you take from it? Are you hopeful for a new Zimbabwe? Jarvis Henry joining us. Hey, say.
How are you? Mushe.
Where are you? You look like you're in the blue roof mansion.
Kana handirimo munomu zvangu munomu.
What did you make of the speech?
Yes, the speech was pragmatic and full of hope. But at the same time, the only thing that I feel which can be a problem is the system in which he hails from, you see. How is he going to do it, and how is he going to untangle himself from that system? Because you've got party policies, and then you've got government policies. And party policies do dictate government policy. And at the same time, how many people is he going to carry along? People who is going to say, these are going to help me to run all these promises that I've said, you know. But otherwise, on a personal note, I'm going to give him a benefit of doubt to say, look, let's give him a chance. He has now learned, each and every one of us, we have got a learning curve in life. It's not going to or the way others are saying. But me, I'm hopeful, Kuti, he has seen how the masses stood up. Kuti, no, please, stands, what a neta, you know. So it would be just folly and stupid for him, could I say, again to the same things.
Okay. Do you see him changing cabinet? Because those are a previous speaker, if he just recycles the same dead wood,
this is where now he has to toe the party line. And that is going to be a plus for him. Kuti cabinet yochinja yoita like well deserving people, not those who have been there for I don't know donkey years. That's the test for him, his cabinet formation. Ipapo ndo pane litmus test yake ipapo. Akangogona kufura ipapo, then I tell you the country will have hope for good.
Okay, so where are you joining us from, Henry? Urugubi?
Ndiri Mlankasha umu.
Or Mnangagwa? Nice one, Dara. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Okay, that's Henry Jarvis there. Okay, guys, who else wants to join? Christian Moyo Hansi is also corrupt. If he's serious about stepping out corruption, he should resign. Let me know if you want to join, guys. Oliver Maha, I'm adding you. Dreadman. Dreadman, make sure your phone is on landscape. Aya nice, did he say?
Zukufamele.
Moshe. So, you've listened to the speech.
Yes. I mean, it was well scripted. Very good speech. On point. You know, he touched on a lot of things that I think will resonate with the people of Zimbabwe.
Mm-hmm.
But now the issue is now implementing those things. Those things will take at least about a year or so to get him implemented, to get him to see results. It's not like something that can be done in 6 months, in 3 months, 6 months. It's going to be at least a year and going on. But what I think, just judging...
But it looks like an immediate problem is going to be money. All those things. A few economists who are commenting are saying that Zimbabwe needs a cash injection. Panotoda support from somewhere could get anything done.
That's what I was going to bring that point. You know, he wants to compensate those farms. Where is the money coming from? That's what I'm saying. Where is that money going to come from? I don't know if he sat down and thought about it, unless he knows where, you know, we know where the money is. You know, maybe we're talking about the $15 billion that's missing. Maybe he knows where that money is, so maybe that's the money that he's wanting to use to compensate those farmers.
I just answer 15 bids.
Right. Because I mean, right now we economically, you know, on our knees, and it's unrealistic to talk about wanting to compensate those farmers. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think, as Zimbabweans, we are very negative? Do you think with Zimbabweans we are just negative people?
I don't think we are negative. I think we are learning. We've been through this system for 37 years. So we are not really negative. We are learning. We are now starting to think for ourselves. We're now starting to wear the options, and we're starting to look at, you know, realistic stuff. We're starting to think realistically instead of just taking things for what they are. So it's not
okay.
We are negative.
All right.
We are
That's
learning to
Oliver
think for
Maha.
ourselves. Yes.
All right. That's Oliver Maha. Thank you as usual.
Thank you, sir. God bless.
One time. Okay, guys. So that's Oliver Maha joining us. Who else wants to come and talk? Oswald Soko. We need Operation Cleanup for corruption. For corruption people, Kasukwere Chihuri, Grace Mugabe, and the rest of the morons should be locked up, and we throw the keys into the Mukuwisi River. Okay, Anzi Trade Maturure, Anzi Mnangagwa is being called a pragmatist. He understands world politics. He's a legal mind, putting pen to paper. Nothing in Zimbabwe is undocumented. My hope is that the law is followed in a free and fair way. Okay, right. Who else wants to join? Douglas Muwatu, when Chihuri was... Anzi, when was Chihuri? Ndamerera ne ha ha ha. Okay, I don't know what he wants to say. Gogovata Wana Miguel, very true. Mugabe was not stealing alone. Yep. Okay. All right, let's go, guys. If you want me to add you, just write my comments to add, and I will do this. Make sure your phone is on landscape. Okay, guys. While I add you, Calvin Nixon, Anzi, give him time, guys. Plus, you need as well your mate near you. Okay, Douglas Muwati. Who are the 50 plus arrested if he is free? Okay. Pesa Zumbira, and the only time will tell where Zimbos are heading to. Okay, patients have already added you. Gandanga, that's Brighton Chajiwa. Okay, who else should I be adding? Tinos Chimondo, I'm adding you. There we go. Just put your phone on landscape, Tinos. Okay, so we're reflecting on the speech by the new president. What did you make of it? And also, while you're watching, what do you make of this Pasne Mandu chants? Are they helpful? A lot of people feel they're inflammatory. Should he be saying Tichingo Tonga, Vachingo Is that presidential? Okay, Tinos, we're trying to add you. Pardon, Komo. I'm not seeing a green camera on your thing, Saka. It means I can't add you. There we go. There we go. Taka Van Pikinyu. I'm adding you. There we go. All right. There we go. Tafatwa Po Mutasa. I'm adding you. There we go. Make sure your phone is on landscape. Okay. We're waiting. Let me read out some more comments. More Demongas and that let bygones be bygones. He's just referring to his old past. He doesn't want people to question him if he is so true. And one cleanup, he must also return the wealth he gained through dodgy links. Okay. I'm trying to add you. I'm not seeing a green camera there, so Alfred Murairi. I'm adding you, Alfred Murairi. Make sure your phone is on landscape. Okay. Just make sure your phone is on landscape. It'll connect. Okay, Aramba. Tendai Bob Mantlazi. I'm adding you. If your phone is on landscape, we'll be able to add you. Let's go. Frank Lamp, Portuguese. ZANU-PF is a system, so I don't think there will be much difference in policies that can make this country to move forward. Mnangagwa is a cruel man, and I don't think he will not do things like rigging elections. Okay. Guys, if you want me to add you, just make sure your phone is on landscape. You know it. Okay. Yeah, I need to try and give you 2 minutes each, guys. To cover as many people as possible. Right. Victor Mukuruva, I'm adding you. There we go. If your phone is on landscape, you'll connect. Victor Mukuruva, I'm adding you. There we go. Hey, Elvis Mugaepi, all the way in Scotland. Oh, not Scotland, Australia. Australia, Elvis Mugaepi. And it's gonna green camera for Mr. Mugaepi. I could be adding you right now. Okay. If your phone is on landscape, you won't be able to join me, guys. So just make sure your phone is on landscape. Okay, I've got someone from Somalia, Huda, Salad, Hudo, Anzi. I'm from Somalia, Viva Mugabe. There we go. Dewama Vinga, while preaching forgiveness, soldiers are hunting down people from the other faction in ZANU-PF. Yes, that's mazvona kazviruitika ndo politics idzodzo. Kelvin Bundu for Hans Grace Mugabe, she's a legend, that woman. There we go. Taka Van Pikinyu, I'm adding you. There we go, there we go. Who else wants to join, guys? I'm trying to add you, but I think you're probably on a laptop or something. I think you need to be on your phone. You need to be on a phone. You need to be on your WhatsApp using a phone to join. Okay, Teora Erugonyans, as a woman, I thank Grace Mugabe for destroying ZANU-PF to where we are now. Other than that, she is just a female species, just an opposite of a man. Okay, there we go. All right. Who am I adding? Make sure you're on landscape, guys. There we go. All right. Mtarukama, if they bring back health, education for all, economy and jobs, then we'll be hopeful. Simbam Juran's cabinet has to be sitting MPs, so he cannot just bring new people. He has to deal with what he has. Mai Manunure Mbavaidzo. Delete what they say. Okay, Victor Mukuru, I'm trying to add you. There we go, guys. If your phone is not on landscape, you won't be able to connect, guys. Landscape is like this. All right. Alrighty. Beulah Velapi Grace Mugabe's character yacho kani. I could have supported her as a female president if she had Buddha Pachena as a candidate, not that bitchy behavior of insulting other politicians. Okay. Let me see. Anzina Choto Ilei, remove Churi first, then we start talking. Okay. There we go. Morrison Mahmoud say, I'm adding you. Make sure you're on landscape, Mkoma Morrison. Then you can be able to join us. There we go. Okay, so if you're just joining this broadcast, we are evaluating the speech by the new president. Mr. Mahmoud say, thank you for joining us. Did you say?
Good evening. How are we?
Yeah, Materera speech, yeah, President Musa. What did you make of it?
I had a chance to sneak away from work and listen to it. I felt I couldn't miss it. I'll make very quick 2 points and give others a chance.
Okay.
I'll start from the paper speech that the new president gave, and he repeated 3 words in a row: jobs, jobs, jobs. In this speech, he repeated the same words: jobs, jobs, jobs. What we have seen in like politics that's going on right now, like the repetition of a few words is meant to stick with people the same way Donald Trump is sticking with the fake news and all the rest of it. The same way Tony Blair won like 3 elections in a row, Achiti, education, education, education. I want to think there is something the new president knows right now he can do to fulfill on that pledge, which he has repeated, I think, twice the platforms.
But
that's number one.
The last election, they promised 2 million jobs. So how different is this?
The difference for me is about, you know, if you work in an organization for a little bit of time and you feel you have the fire in your belly to do things different, and you can't be just the last signature to make things happen. Sometimes people tend to push forward every time because they feel they have the fire in the belly to try and do something that they feel they can do. And simply because they don't get the last signature, sometimes we tend to pin them down as being part of the system. But it's not everybody. We've known of companies that have done well. We've known of companies that have failed, not because they weren't brilliant people in that organization, but because the people that have the last signature, no matter how much you'd tell it as it's supposed to happen, no matter a genius you are. That's why you find most people will just choose to go away. For others, they will choose to go away. So for me, I think we haven't come from that background with ED. although I accept he has been part of the system, I'll give him a chance in the context here. Could say he would not have the last signature about anything. But at the same time, we cannot as well rule him out of maybe a few things or the many things that might have happened up to until maybe 1990, when we started with the economic structural adjustment program that failed us. From there, 1995, 96, 97, that's when we had everything crashing down after the land grabs. But he was part of a system that we are saying at least was doing something for us that we could see as progress from maybe 1980 up to about 1990.
But,
So,
but are you not
on
seeing
that
are you not seeing a deliberate attempt from people in ZANU-PF to try and rewrite history? Because all of a sudden they are trying to make us believe Mugabe was the source of our problems. Ariega, Mugabe presided over cabinet meetings where decisions were made collectively. So surely there should be such a thing as collective responsibility.
Yeah, I wouldn't label any of those guys clean at all. And to try and put that on one person, to me, is just playing like political mind games. So in terms of being clean and smart, I think it's an opportunity for the new president to show us what he has said in his own words. Speeches will not make the change. That's one thing. So I was talking about the first point that he put to us about the jobs. I'm going to the second point that I want to quote and maybe paraphrase what he said. He talked about never again will the situations that have like propelled us to where we are right now, where we are trying to sort this mess. Never again will those situations like be allowed to happen ever again. So I'm thinking to myself, he knows about the mess. He knows we are in a mess. But today is not the day to maybe talk about everything that we know, all of us, is a mess.
Okay.
The last point is, there are some people that are strategically positioned to try and talk about and clean that mess. And they are saying something in the background. I was watching on YouTube, there was an interview done by the lady Gonyet. She interviewed Ambassador Mnangagwa. And Ambassador Mnangagwa said something about, say, the Commissioner of Police. He was like, if I was him, I would have resigned after being booed by the public. So if we are looking at maybe how the crocodile, if we want to take the actual crocodile and how it operates and how strategic it might want to place itself in order to strike, we have some people who already have an idea of what's going to happen. The young man, Achim Lumumba, was talking to Gonyet the same thing and was like, do you see this guy that has just pat me on the back? That's your next vice president. I don't think that's true. I don't think it's not true, but I'm just thinking, strategically, if he is the crocodile we are told all the way through, he is. This is a master plan that can help him to propel not just himself, but the people of Zimbabwe to work together, not divided by party lines, and go beyond the elections in 2018.
Okay.
One last point about opposition. One last point about opposition. We won't be surprised if the opposition is going to stall some of the talented minds in their ranks from joining the government to serve the people of Zimbabwe. Because they
but it doesn't look like we're going to get a coalition government here. I think ZANU-PF wants to go it alone, so it might not even be a point.
I'm just thinking.
In the end.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. If it was, our history doesn't tell us that. Our history doesn't tell us people will be allowed to be fished out of an opposition party. So I'm just looking at, if we are really patriotic Zimbabweans who look at working for the country and each other, why would people that are talented and they happen to be in the opposition and they have a chance to join someone who is going to try something new, why would they be stopped? All it means is we are breeding yet another system that's not going to work for us. Because if Lancy, if you are talented in something, if no matter your political affiliations, if it were me, I would be like, my man, you could be the Minister of Information, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, right? Because we want to serve the people of Zimbabwe. So it's not just about ZANU-PF and their views and their president. It's also about everybody else that call themselves Zimbabwe.
All right, Mr. Mamute, we would be here all day. Thanks a lot for your points. Some good points you raised there.
Thank you very much.
All right, then.
Cheers.
Okay, that's Morrison Mamute joining us there. Okay, guys. Let me see who else we can be adding here. Adding a few people here. Begimuzi Moyo, I want to add you, but for some reason, I don't know why it would. I think maybe you're not on your phone. Okay, just make sure you're on your phone is on landscape, guys. Okay. We go, Victor Mkuruva, I'm adding you. Make sure you're on landscape.
Ebolans.
Okay. I don't know why I'm not seeing you. Can you see me?
Ebolans do kuona lands.
Oh, okay. For some reason I can't. Okay. Anyway, I'm sure maybe people can see you. Okay. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm there, Lance. I'm here.
Of the speech. Okay.
Lance. Lance, can you hear me?
Okay, now I can hear you. You can proceed. What did you make of the speech?
Firstly, Lance, nobody really wants to replicate Mugabe. Is given a chance to prove to the world honor to just be different. So I think we must just give him the benefit of the doubt. Of which speech I gave, for a start, it was very good. But for the issue, I thought I would let bygones be bygones. Obviously, that applies to Mugabe alone. He's going to go after all the other guys. They're already in trouble. You can see it with Kasukwere and all those guys. He's going after everybody. One. And,
so is it not a bit of hypocrisy to say let bygones be bygones while dealing ruthlessly with his internal opponents in ZANU-PF?
Yeah, that's hypocrisy. That's ZANU-PF for you. That part will never change. But then when he went on to the economy, I think Mnangagwa might have a few cards to play. Remember, he was head of government in parliament. So I actually think that at some point he was sabotaging Mugabe so that he knew he was going to take over from Mugabe. So I think he was pulling some strings somewhere so that he can sabotage in somewhere so that when he gets into power, he'll be having a lot of cards to play so that he can prove his point. So on the economy, I think he knows. And I think he's got some cards to play there. Because he has been a head of government in parliament. So all the other deals he was doing for government. So he knows when Mugabe was getting it wrong, or maybe when Mugabe was not really serious. So that's why he said maybe he must hit the road running. So he knows where he really wants to put his pressure and power.
Is his main limitation not the fact that he's only finishing Mugabe's term, so maybe he has a few months to put something together. Maximum 8, 9 months to do something.
Yeah, but 9 months is too much because he won't change a lot, but he can change. He can just give direction so that the voters can see that he's got potential. It's not like it's gonna make people's lives better, but he's just gonna show some direction so that people say that man, this guy is good, man. Let's just give him another 5 years. He's not gonna do something maybe in the what is almost less than a year. Ne? He's not gonna do something in a year which can give meaningful change to people. Just gonna try to just give us direction. Then the voters, like Zimbabwean voters, we're gonna give him 5 years to prove his point. Of you see.
Okay.
And the other thing, when he mentioned this thing of compensating the farmers, hey, that's a different stance from Mugabe. You see, and I can tell you this: the international community, the investors are gonna back him, because Mugabe would always say that hey, we cannot compensate you because Blade didn't give us money. Now this guy said, no, our government, be patient with us. It was gonna take time, but eventually we're gonna compensate you guys. So that's a stance which I think was gonna make people want to listen to him, want to give him a chance. You see, so if he really meant what he was saying here, I think we might have Mnangagwa for the next 5 years come July. Honestly,
Okay, no.
we're gonna have yeah.
Thank you for your point. Where are you getting us from?
In Johannesburg.
Johannesburg. Facebook yanditira majeras andisikutombokuona ipapa. I don't know why this corner editing, but thanks a lot for joining us.
Okay, sharp, Lance.
Iribo.
Okay, sharp.
Okay, let's see. Inviting some more guests. Hopefully this time I can be seeing Andina Oliver Maha Pasne Mandu Atmadi Maslogan or Oliver. No Pasne Mandu slogans. Okay, Tino Simondo. Okay, guys, let me see who I can be adding. Okay, Liberty. Make sure your phone is on landscape. Make sure your phone is on landscape, Liberty. And we get your points. Okay. Meanwhile, okay, and now Elvis Mkaepi, I am driving. I can't hold the phone on landscape. Just enjoying listening while on a journey. Thank you, Mr. Mgaepi. Mota James Manyevu, and the new blood should be injected into the cabinet rather than recycling the same old people. We need new ideas, innovations, rather than being authoritative. Yeah. Okay, Liberty, put your phone on landscape, ka? It won't connect if it's not on landscape. Okay. Moving on. Ezekiel Zondo, put your phone on landscape. And the side Zumbira, guys, we are all in this plane. Let's hope our pilot Ed will not fail us. Zaza Rikai, too many pessimistic people. Okay, there we go. Farai Kazembe, Anzina Farai Kazembe. The reality is Zimbabwe needs a leader who has conviction and is not controlled by anyone. Okay, here we go. James Simbarashe Muunganirwa. Okay, I'm adding you there. Make sure your phone's on landscape. If you're just joining us, we've just been analyzing Mnangagwa's speech today. James Simbarashe Muunganirwa, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, my man. How are you?
No, thank you for joining us. What did you make of the speech?
He obviously signaled all the right intentions, but then my biggest concern is that we probably didn't address the fundamental issues that brought us to this place. So my feeling is that the reason why Zimbabwe has been isolated by the international community is because of things like human rights abuses and shrinking democratic space. And I didn't get anything by way of policy in that speech that told me that we were about to go in a different direction.
Yeah. So it's almost like lip service, but he knew this speech was being broadcast internationally and he had to say the right things.
Yep, that's the feeling that I had, and that was very concerning to me. It's almost as if he was saying the things that he felt that he needed to say, because those are the things that the people were anticipating that he was going to say. So I think for me that was quite concerning. And then the other thing is I've been hearing a lot of talk around this whole compensation, with people saying that he did say that he was going to compensate. The thing that I heard was that he said that he was going to be compensating according to the law. And as far as I'm concerned, compensating according to the law means that they'll compensate for improvements and that nothing is going to change. And that's what's been happening all along anyway.
So I think the speech, this guy is a lawyer and he knew what he was saying.
Now, of course, Vanuatu Singaiti, Lance. And then the other thing as well that concerns me is that, yes, we're celebrating change, we're celebrating a new day. But then the very reason why this person is in power is because he's been put up there by the military. And if you
It's amazing we are pretending this was not a military coup, isn't it?
Well, it was a coup by any name, and there's no doubt about it. And my biggest worry is I've actually seen some documents circulating on social media, and I don't know, I haven't verified some documents purported to be from the High Court saying that things like that, like he was fired from government, we all know that, and then they sort of put in a lawsuit of some sort, and that's been nullified and voided. So it means that there's not going to be a record that he was sacked from government. I don't know whether you've seen those.
Yeah, the guy was a former justice minister for quite some time. So if there's a department that he has influence in, that one would be one of them, isn't it?
Yep, absolutely. And then just finally, Lance, the other thing is, look, we've set a precedent here that the military can intervene in matters of governance. So what is there to say that if there's going to be an election tomorrow, let's just assume for starters that that election is going to be free and fair. What is there to say that the military is going to respect the voice of the people?
Yeah. No, I think that is a very pertinent question to ask, and we shall see next year. We've been promised elections by the new president. So where are you getting us from, Murugubi?
New Zealand, Lance.
Could you say?
Kuri bo zviri kuitika zvese zvani reminder of student politics back in the day ku UZ. Used to be with you at the UZ, if you remember.
Oh no, I was at the Harare Poly, but when we were organizing demonstrations, yeah, we used to come to the university, Nana Jongwe and others to organize protests.
Yep. No, that's all good. No, thanks, brother.
No, thank you for joining us, man.
Okay, Idebo.
Okay, guys, let's see who we can add. Trade Maturure, construction. Let's see. Hilton Fungai. Hilton Fungai Maburukwa, Lance, your opposition mantra clouds your fair editorial prerogative. Yeah, man, it's our job to ask questions. We can't behave like ostriches and bury our heads in the sand. I think the truth needs to be said. But on this platform, it's not about what I think. I can tell you what I think, but certainly if you want to join us and tell us what you think, feel free to do so. I've stated clearly from the beginning, this is your platform. Come on, join us and tell us what you think. I'm not just inviting people who want to agree with me. Feel free if you want to join and disagree. That is the whole point of these discussions. I'm adding you, Farai Kazembe. Make sure your phone is on landscape. Farai.
Hi, Lance. Hi, how are
doing?
you? I'm good.
Okay,
How are you?
Okay. So you heard the speech, and what do you make of it?
Well, from what I heard, I'll be honest with you, the speech was on the surface sounded good. But when I really started looking at everything and thinking about everything, I realized what they have done is they have just flowered the language to make it more palatable, more passive aggressive than how Mugabe used to talk. Because at one point, I don't think everybody was listening. He actually attacked the United Nations. And he said, well, the United Nations needs to reform. They still have issues where, like, they're unfair to the Palestinians. He started talking about the Palestinian issue. And that was like a passive aggressive attack to say, you know what? Don't throw stones when you live in glass houses. So to me, I didn't see, to me, it almost seems like the rhetoric has just become more educated because they realize that in this world, they have to kind of be passive aggressive and be more palatable so people, so that the ones who know what actually is being said understand, but the rest of the world, it seems like, oh, everything is all good. To me,
would you compare that to his speech at the ZANU-PF headquarters, where in English he almost seemed to be saying all the right things, and then Shonai is talking about kuvukura, tishingotonga. I think Mugabe used to do that.
Yes, well, that's because, in Shona, it's almost like a warning to the rest of us that you're never actually going to, opposition will never have a chance. There's never going, as far as I'm concerned, the best thing that Zimbabweans can get out of this situation is better economics. We're never going to get free and fair elections. There is no way anyone in their right mind right now can possibly think Mnangagwa would have free and fair elections in 9 months and come out of power. To think the military went to the trouble of putting in a candidate of their choice so that in 9 months that person would leave. And there's other surrounding issues around ZANU-PF, especially concerning things like gold mining and diamond mining, things that are surrounded by corruption that would tumble down the world of the Mnangagwas and the Chiwengas. There is just not going to be free and fair elections in Zimbabwe. That is wishful thinking on Zimbabweans' part. The best that it can come out of this situation, the best that can come out of this situation is if we end up with an autocratic society that has a better economic system.
So are we choosing between development and human rights? We can't get both.
Right now, if we continue with ZANU-PF, that's all we're going to get. If they manage to create that balance between, oppression and better economics, most Zimbabweans want better economics. They're not interested in oppression, or they don't understand how oppression actually affects the growth of a country. So they think as long as they get some economics, they're fine because they don't really quite understand it. So you'll find that a lot of people...
Do you think, Farai, do you think as is being accused by a gentleman who's commenting there, that we are just generally negative people as Zimbabweans?
No. Zimbabweans are some of the most optimistic and pardon my French, most gullible people. Because they don't look at the surface. The reason why ZANU-PF has gotten away for so long with so much is because ZANU-PF always manages, almost every election year, they promise something, they say something, they would-win people, and people believe it. They want to believe them, they want to take them for their word. You know, Zimbabweans are not negative people. Zimbabweans are generally positive people who make whatever circumstances they are in work. And I think sometimes we are too understanding, and that is our biggest problem. So no, I mean, I don't think Zimbabweans are negative or that we're being negative Nancy's. We just have to be we have to be practical. We have to be pragmatists about the situation we're in. For me, I'll be one of the few people who are saying, I personally didn't want to see Mugabe go right now. I was happy with what Grace was doing, destroying the party from within, weakening it. I was hoping we would get to elections with them fighting. So when everybody was saying Mugabe must go, it's like, no, not right now, you know?
So this has almost allowed ZANU-PF to reinvent itself, isn't it?
Yes, they have reinvented themselves. The Zimbabweans have forgotten that the same military that they're hailing as, as our heroes are the same people who have oppressed us time and time again. And at the same time, while the new president is saying, we want peace, we want all of this, they are running after the other faction and doing exactly the things they did, Gukuraundi in the 80s. 2008, short sleeve, long sleeve, they're doing the same exact things, except Zimbabweans are accepting it. Because one of the things that I've always said distinguished the Lacoste and G40 people was, G40 was very obnoxious, very loud in their corruption, very unseasoned. Lacoste is very stilt, very organized in their corruption, and it was sort of embarrassing for ZANU-PF's corruption to be put all out by this obnoxious, group of people, the G40. When Lacoste what we're getting from Lacoste is you're going to get a gatekeeper. Organized corruption that has a gatekeeper is what you're getting. Corruption will be there. And the leaders of that corruption are going to be the Mnangagwas and the Chiwengas. They're going to be the gatekeepers. You are only allowed to be corrupt when you're in that group. But the corruption is going to continue.
Do you think though G40 beat Lacoste politically and Lacoste simply recovered using the army?
No, I personally feel that Lacoste has had a long time. I've been watching the plan. This plan has been ongoing for almost 2 years. In 2016, it went into full force when you started seeing the activists, Mugabe must go, and everyone saying Mugabe must go, Mugabe must go. This was Lacoste. This had nothing to do with real activism. And I started seeing those things and I'm like, what is going on? Why is it Mugabe must go, not Mugabe and ZANU-PF must go? Because Mugabe is a symptom of a system. The system will always be there. You can remove the face of the system, but the system remains. Who are we replacing Mugabe with when we remove Mugabe? Because the system stays. And I kept asking that question. It kept bothering me. Why is it just Mugabe must go? Why is it not Mugabe and ZANU-PF must go? So this plan has been in full action for almost, I would say they have had this plan for at least a couple years. And then you see, I think there also, at some point, there's been sabotage of the economy to make sure people really felt the pinch. And everything was being put on Mugabe. It's Mugabe, it's Mugabe. And then my Mugabe was like the icing on the cake, the gift that just kept on giving, where she can't control herself. She's so obnoxious in her corruption that every Zimbabwean is just upset. She gets every Zimbabwean upset. And you're like, this Mugabe. And you don't see the other devil. The most dangerous devil sitting in front of you. And that was Lacoste. And it worked. It worked out for them.
Do you know something?
They were better
you're
organized.
Saying something quite interesting. You're saying something quite interesting when you're talking about these guys were sabotaging Mugabe. Because I remember shortages, Papa, and Mugabe came back. And Mugabe, the first thing Mugabe said was, people in my own party are creating these artificial shortages, if you remember.
Yes, and it was true. It was not a lie, because what people don't understand is Mnangagwa has close ties in the business world in Zimbabwe. And every time they would say shortages, you saw the quick spike hikes of food when prices went up, everything went up. And then they had started again, Mugabe must go. And all this is going on and people are getting frustrated. Oh my God, we're going into an economic crisis. Oh my God, the economy is crashing. All this panic. And Zimbabweans fell hook, line, and sinker for it. And you could see it. It was coming, and they were coming, and ZANU-PF was reorganizing, restructuring itself. We just put the most dangerous people in power when ZANU-PF was on the verge of collapse. And we have no one to blame but ourselves. We were so caught up in the hatred that we failed to analyze the facts.
Do you think the ice cream poisoning was real or it was stage managed? Final question.
It was stage managed. I don't believe for a second he was poisoned. I never believed it. I always believed there was stages in which we were supposed to be building sympathy towards this devil who was in charge of Gukurahundi. This devil who had been throwing people, who threw someone out of a building because they were dating the same girlfriend. This devil was in charge of rigging of elections, who literally refused. Who literally refused to let opposition, get into power, who was adamant because he had his own political ambitions and said no one is going anywhere because he knew he wanted to be president one day, and you could see all of this, and it was like they were pretty much molding this person to make sure this person was molded into a sympathetic character. Someone who was not sympathetic suddenly started becoming sympathetic and then now turned into a hero. I am flawed by Zimbabweans and just our failure to just not analyze and see the facts. When I see people now saying AC Lumumba was ZANU-PF. In what world did you think AC Lumumba was not ever ZANU-PF? In what world? In what world did you think all these activists running around, giving you mixed signals were not part of ZANU-PF? In what world in Zimbabwe? Most of the people who are in Zimbabwe, who are in politics, are mostly in ZANU-PF or in MDC. It's almost like you need permission. The average citizenry is scared of speaking up. And that's the truth. You cannot have people saying fuck you to the president and getting out of jail the next day. People need to become realistic and start seeing things that are right in front of them. ZANU-PF is the master of politics. I've always said, what I don't understand about ZANU-PF is you're the master of politics, but you have failed the economy. But now I have a better understanding because, yes, maybe when they got into power, they didn't understand economics. They didn't understand how to run the country. But then at some point, they also started the infighting, where, of course, some others are sabotaging each other because they also have their own political ambitions. Because the biggest problem we have in our political parties in Zimbabwe, where you see it in MDC, you see it in ZANU-PF, there is not a clear succession policy that is based on merit. So people have to kind of subdue their political ambitions, and they are passive-aggressive in how they want to get into power. And it's, it really, I don't know, but I mean, I'm like hands down to ZANU-PF. They won. They won this battle.
Is there anything, Farai, is there anything Mnangagwa can do that will convince you that he can do a good job?
See, the thing is, I'm not convinced that he can do a good job. I think he might be able to do a good job. I just think we're not going to get free or fair elections. We need to manage our expectations. We might get better economics, a better economic, a more functional economy, but we're never going to get a democratic society. So we have to decide what we want. Do we want a democratic and a society that has good economics, or are we okay with an oppressive society with good economics? And really, the jury is still out because that ZANU-PF functions on the patronage system where there is payback. We have to pay you back. We have to pay you back. We have to pay you back. What is he going to do about all these people who were involved in the battle to get him in, who are waiting in line, saying, I need this and I need this position? Now he has to create a balance between that and running the country.
Have you watched the video of AC Lumumba telling Gonyet from Bastop TV that Kembo Mohadi will be the next vice president?
Yes, yes, I did watch it. I mean, AC Lumumba. I think I personally don't like him, but because he is in ZANU PF and he knows people in ZANU PF, he may be right about a lot of things because he's getting inside information. Because he was right about a lot of things, So he has inside information, So he could be right, but what I foresee is Mnangagwa is not going to put in anyone who's going to threaten his position as a vice president, who has political ambitions. Because from what I understand, the intel I have gotten, because I've been working and just listening and going on and really trying to find out what's going on in Zimbabwe. What I understood is they actually had someone from a vice president from one of the opposition parties who they were working with, and they dropped that person because they realized that he had a lot of political ambitions and could be a problem in the future. So Mnangagwa is not going to take anyone who has political ambitions of their own that go to a presidential level. For me, my understanding of what I'm seeing, to me, in the future, I believe fatigues will be the new suits in town. You'll have Mnangagwa followed by Chiwenga, followed by the what is name, Sibanda, and the road continues. And anyone who's ever in their mind thought the military is not in charge, the military has always been in charge. They just had a civilian as the face of ZANU PF.
Okay, so Farai, where are you?
That sound crazy. That's how we sound crazy.
So
but,
where are you? Where are you based? Where are you based?
I'm in Canada.
Okay, how is it there for Zimbabweans?
You know what? Living outside the country is tough. It's tough, because you may have everything you want, but you still miss home. There's that part of you that's always going to miss your country and love your country. I want to go back. The only thing is, I want to go back to a country where we're growing. You don't see young people struggling, kids on the streets, kids crying because they don't have jobs, kids doing drugs, kids going into prostitution. That is not an environment that would make me happy. I want more for the children of Zimbabwe. I want to, Zimbabwe has such talented people. You see them doing well in other countries, and you wonder why we can't do this for ourselves. But it's because we have a selfish system that refuses to change. And I hope Mnangagwa coming is a point where they start balancing that and realizing that we need the economics. If you're going to oppress people, at least give them economics.
Brilliant stuff from you, Farai Kazembe, all the way from Canada. Oh my God, you raised some very important issues, and I think people have a lot to digest. Thank you so much, eh?
All right, thank you.
Okay, guys, one more caller. Let me get one more caller. All right, let's see. Let me get one more caller to finalize it, okay? Hilton Fungai Maburupa. Okay. I need someone to contradict what is being said.
Oh, right. Hi. How are you doing?
Hilton Fungai Maburupa. Did you say?
I'm good, thank you. I was waiting in vain, and I thought you wouldn't be confident enough to bring me onto your platform.
A lot of people were making requests, but shoot it off. Let's hear. What do you think?
Well, the thing is, we need to first of all realize what society is. I mean, we're a society of 13.5 million Zimbabweans. So obviously, we cannot always sing from the same mouthpiece. And as you know, there's so many different ways of putting a giraffe in the fridge. And I'll use that as an analogy, and I'll keep referring to that. Now, we as members of ZANU PF, sorry, I'm telling you which party I belong to.
That
allows you to know what my ethos and background is coming from. We obviously did identify that there is a problem. Now, the thing is, since there's so many ways of putting a giraffe in the fridge, there is there is the direct approach that we used to use in primary school in creche, where if there's a bully, you don't go some you know. But then when we're dealing with a political institution where you know that the pillars of government have what rules and regulations, things have to be constitutional, things have to be savvy. You have to be able to control health and safety of the individuals and so on and so forth. You need to be able to maintain your reputation within the international community. You need to make sure that everything is done in a spick and span manner, because what Zimbabwe needed was an emergency CPR situation. And we could, in ZANU-PF, we could see already that someone was running away on their own rhetoric, saying things that were not very representative or reflective of our party's constitution, let alone reflecting us as a party when we're going into elections within the next 12 months. Someone's
Do you mean
mantra.
Grace Mugabe there? Are you
Grace
talking about
Mugabe. Yes, Grace Mugabe. Grace Mugabe's agenda was about her own power base. It was also about her own unjust enrichment and carrying on with the entire facade of incident after incident in the past 12 months. I mean, if you go onto YouTube and watch each and every single video, it was all a lot of nonsense. Anyway, this is what has ended up happening. We had to do a cleanup in terms of what we are doing as a party. I think you remember that video where there was a South African anchor who said, "Are you prepared to put a 95-year-old as your best candidate?" And the guy was laughing. He was laughing for days. You'd have thought, it's a joke on Kevin Hart or somebody, you know, or Alfred Kainga, you know. So it was like an Alfred Kainga proper joke. And, you know, it got me thinking. I mean, I was like, I mean, really? Seriously? What we should have is actually duty of care for our elders. So we, within the instruments of what's legal, it was about legality. We have managed to get a despot leader out of office peacefully. There's no bloodshed. In South Africa, they kill each other to the millions just to get rid of a local MP, a local mayor. In Kenya, it's a genocide. In any other places in the world, but it was done peacefully. And yes, this is on an interim basis. Now, people may love or hate ZANU-PF, but what we're trying to say is that we have now got clear breathing space. There is enough free wind for anybody to fairly compete within the next elections. I mean, Emerson Mnangagwa was not beaten by a stick. He didn't get behind a finger like this. He said that he's guaranteeing free and fair elections within the frame, which is by lie about that. He also mentioned that the peace is like God speaking, which means that free and fair elections, because of Mnangagwa living with Robert Mugabe, and he said he's his mentor, you will also know where your teacher went wrong. And obviously you don't want to go the same way. And he probably knows a lot more things that are privy than...
Fungai,
Yeah.
if I may interject, there seems to be a lot of hypocrisy coming from the ZANU-PF camp, because I was befuddled by the fact that people in ZANU-PF are acting like Mugabe suddenly became 93 in the last 16 days. Mugabe has been 93 for quite some time.
Hang on. Now let's be honest and let's put our cards on the table. Because of the savviness and the ability of Robert Mugabe as a savvy politician, as well as you will know from a constitutional point of view, over the 37 years, through judge-made law, through various statutes, various amendments, he was the only center of control. Taking him out legally, or even through a parliamentary process, had always become cumbersome. Anyone who had become more influential or capable of any kind of sensible or legitimate succession was always clouded out. We know that other people had various agendas, there have been various factions and so on and so forth. That happens. But this time it needed the balancing power of a referee who has got a gun. The military had to step in and say, okay, hang on a minute, we don't want undue influence from this party or from that, and so on and so forth. Let the will of the people speak for itself. And we all saw the wonderful scenes in the past week of Zimbabweans coming out. Mugabe, trust me, he is someone who goes down in history as someone who's savvy, very effective. I am a big fan of the young Mugabe. The older, the geriatric Mugabe, not so much. No way. But at the same time, you are dealing with someone who had dug in his roots. He had already created his power base and legitimized it by making sure the constitution is pro-Mugabe, not pro-ZANU-PF. So now by getting...
but Fungai, the reality
Yeah.
of the situation is Lacoste was beaten politically, roped in the army to compensate for their political losses. Why couldn't Lacoste fight in the political arena?
Now, let's put it this way. Commiserations is for the losers. The people who write the history books are the winners. Now, the thing is, as you will know, any arm of government, it has three pillars. Okay, you have the judiciary, you've got the military, and then you've got the political establishment. That tripartite arrangement is there in order to create a fail-safe democracy where there will be checks and measures. G40 was a cancer that was very effective. I'll give you an analogy: HIV and AIDS. When the HIV in 1995, people were dropping like flies. But nowadays, it's easier to treat that, like diabetes. Sometimes you have to use a certain methodology, but what happens is that the cancer is gone. Now, what I'd like to suggest, I mean, we heard the last speaker was quite emotional, very eloquent in that rhetoric of victimization, almost like this, this I'm a victim the whole time, and the more I can scream, the louder I can get. Now, practically, what needs to be done, and what Emerson Mnangagwa has already said he's going to do, is he's going to make sure that there's free and fair elections this coming year within the time frame that's already set. That way he's inferring and implying that he's an interim president. So people go and register to vote. Go and go and participate when the election happens. Choose your candidates for your constituencies, and let's make sure that it's free and fair. And then whatever comes out of the election process after 2018 is representative of what we all think and understand. This thing of blame game politics, the opposition is always want to say ZANU-PF, ZANU-PF. Even global warming will be put on ZANU-PF's back. Let's say the right thing.
Okay.
Put your candidates
Fungai,
in place, and then
Fungai.
Yeah.
You've avoided my question though. The army intervened on behalf of a faction that had lost politically. So what is to stop the same army, as was asked by
Lance?
What is to stop the army from intervening?
Lance. This is about constitutional and administration law. Okay. The army and the military's mandate is to protect the constitution of Zimbabwe.
No.
Right.
Let
Now,
me ask
Emerson Mnangagwa was unconstitutionally removed. And we could see already, everyone could see already, that Mugabe was circumventing some kind of a convention to get Grace Mugabe into power. That was not palatable with ZANU-PF. It was not palatable with the military. It was not palatable with the nation. So what the military did was to imply a coup.
But it was a military coup. Come on. So soldiers taking over ZBC and installations is a military coup.
Okay. Mira, Lance, it's a question of semantics, right? Obviously, it was a coup.
No. It's not even about semantics. That argument.
It was a military coup. Mira.
Listen to my question first. My question is.
Yeah, that was checkmate.
Fungai, what happens next year, September 2018? Let's say Mnangagwa loses an election. What is to stop the same army from intervening on Mnangagwa's behalf?
Now, you're asking one of those questions, which is like, how long is a piece of string, or that what if paradigm, right? Yes, it is a very important question, and it is a concern. I acknowledge it. And let's put it this way. We would like a situation where that doesn't become the first order of business, right? You would like to think that anything going wrong in the country, if someone's lost an election or not lost an election, I mean, I'll give you an example at the moment. In the German democracy, there's a stalemate between Angela Merkel and that other guy. none of them could get a majority constitutionally that would allow them to effectively create a government. And at the same time, they cannot create a government of national unity. So they're still at a stalemate. And at the same time, they do not want to set a proper program in order to have a rerun of elections. Same stalemate is in Kenya, okay? What I would like to hope is that the Zimbabwe military, which came out for the first time in 37 years to bring law and order, won't, at a knee-jerk reaction, do the same thing next year. That is our hope and that is our prayer. Okay. That is what would like to do not happen. I mean, no, he's not Dr. Emerson Mnangagwa. Well, he'll probably get an honorary doctorate for human rights or whatever. But what I would like to suggest is that from what he said, he said 18 different points in his speech today. People should get beyond the fact that he is a ZANU-PF member and so on and so forth. That's sensible forward thinking. And one of the main
Sorry,
things...
can I interject? Did you say Mnangagwa would get a doctorate for human rights?
Based on the fact that he's an emancipator of it by taking over from Robert
come on. This guy was state security minister when 20,000 people were massacred. That would be
Lance. Maybe my humor is not palatable to yourself, but that was a little bit of satire on my part, right?
Okay.
What I'm trying to suggest is that there's no one who's perfect. There is no perfect solution, but this is what's there. It sounds practicable. It sounds nice. It smells nice, like Nando's to me politically. Let's see what happens. We all now know, though, lessons learned from what happened in the past couple of weeks, that there's power in the people. Okay, people coming out, black, white, Indian, Muslim, whatever, fat people, skinny people, tall people, whatever, brown people, that was enough pressure for everybody to take note. And during that time period, we also saw the good side of military intervention, where the police were out of the situation because my was just fleecing people left, right, and center about speed humps and taillights. But there was no crime in Zimbabwe the past 10 days since the military has been there. The only people that Kusunga is the people who have been stealing money and all sorts of things. Anyway, I'm optimistic. Let's put it this way. You can never have 13.5 million people supporting MDC. And at the same time, you can't have 13.5 million supporting ZANU-PF.
Final question for you.
The only thing,
final question
the thing that resonates with me, at free and fair elections, and let's make sure, even the opposition people who keep screaming and crying, whatever it is, get your candidates. There's 74 opposition parties taking part in next year's elections. Out of your 74, choose what you want. Is it ZANU-PF, Pamberine, ZANU, Pasne Mandu?
Okay, final question for you, Fungai, before you go. The new president was talking about letting bygones be bygones. Meanwhile, Chombo is incarcerated for... Hold on, let me ask the question. The new president is talking about bygones, letting bygones be bygones. Meanwhile, Chombo is being tortured in custody, blindfolded for a week. Obet Mpofu stands smiling next to the new president. A lot of hypocrisy, double standards, and
Lance,
his words matching his actions.
Lance, I'll give you a three-tiered response to that. Okay, first one, these are politics, That's the first response. Second response, utopia does not exist. There's never going to be a perfect political solution, and people will be covering their own backs and so on and so forth. But what's most important is, if we learn anything from what's happened with Oscar Pistorius this week, especially today, initially Oscar Pistorius was given, 12 months? And a very menial sentence for Reeva Steenkamp's death, right? Then it went to the same appeal process. Then he was given 6 years, all right? Then it went to judicial review, and today was given 15 years, all right? Now, there's always scope for judicial review. The thing is, we have a new incumbent. He's only been in office less than 24 hours. This military action has only been in its infancy. Give it 6 months, give it 6 weeks, give it 12 weeks over the next 6 weeks to 6 months, you will see a natural evolution of certain things, and people's opinions will be skewed accordingly. You also find that certain processes will go under review and corrective measures will take place. There's no quick fix. There isn't a single person in Zimbabwe, you, myself, or anybody out of the 13.5 million of us, who can suddenly nasi today, I'm getting rid of Mugabe, and then give us bang solution. Zimbabwe is as prosperous as it was in 1995 or 1985. It's a process. We need to allow time maturely, give people space, and to be able to do that. Emerson Mnangagwa is not an illegal president because ZANU-PF in 2013 won the election. Those people in opposition politics voted out MDC, out of the national government or national unity. They voted out all of them. Even Morgan Tsvangirai could not even win in his own constituency as an MP to be an honorable, So this is a reflection of how people feel. And as we know in politics, in the last 5-6 weeks, people were clapping hands for Grace Mugabe and she was talking rubbish. But
you know what?
You're thinking, what?
Do you know something?
And then now she was talking crap about our president, and he's now the president.
Okay, but an MDC supporter listening to you talking about Tsvangirai not winning as an MP will remind you that Tsvangirai won in 2008, and the same army that you are praising helped Mugabe when he lost elections. So it's not a problem where the army intervenes.
Okay, things change, right?
No, but
I'll give you. I acknowledge that something happened, but since I'm not privy to the inner machinations of what happened, I can't give you an objective answer on that because I wasn't there and I wasn't involved. But at the same time, as you know,
so you're doing an Arsene Wenger. I didn't see it.
If you don't see it, without but anyway,
so
look,
what is ZANU-PF? Where are you? Are you in Zimbabwe?
No, I'm ZANU-PF UK. I live in Portsmouth.
Oh, ZANU-PF UK. Okay.
Yeah.
No, man, it's been nice chatting to you. I hope we link up. Please inbox me your phone number. We need to have a proper interview in coming weeks. Inbox me your phone number.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. Obviously, since I'm not part of the senior executive, I can't give you an official position. What I liked about your platform is that when we go to elections, you'll have 13.5 million in the electorate. Registered voters will be there. You have to be able to absorb people from different backgrounds, thoughts, and lifestyles. And you need to see what will skew and win a vote. Right. At the moment, if you look at northern suburbs in Harare and certain constituencies in Harare, especially the urban vote, people are going with independence because the opposition itself is quite weak. Whereas we as ZANU-PF feel we are confident because we're a better, well-oiled political machine because we're the oldest machine. But at the same time, we can't be caught into the derision that's already in MDC and everything else.
You guys are fighting amongst each other, locking each other up in prison. Some of your ministers
because
into
Dr. Cooper, Mira, Dr. Cooper got smacked in her own meeting. Come on, this is MDC, and how many MDCs are there? 7? Come on, mate, there are 7 MDCs. They're also attacking each other.
No. I'm saying, you know what?
Okay. Can I give you a different analogy? Just think about it this way. Think about it this way. Okay.
I'm saying it sounds hypocritical to talk about infighting in MDC when the army have just intervened to help a faction within ZANU-PF, Muchirwisana Mega, and the army is intervening with ZANU-PF. And
Lance,
is talking about fighting
Lance. You should go back to General Constantine Chiwenga's speech, right? He has said that they are there to safeguard
acknowledge the point,
peace and security.
You are talking about infighting in MDC, and yet the army have just intervened to help a faction within ZANU-PF. It sounds rather hypocritical, I think.
Well, like I said to you, no politics.
Anyway, I think let's give others a chance. Saga, thanks a lot.
No, Lance.
Okay, guys. I think that was our last call. Does anyone want to respond to Fungai? Does anyone want to respond to Fungai Sataenda? Okay. Does anyone want to respond to Fungai Nai before we go? There we go, there we go, there we go. Okay, should I make that the last caller? Hayi mandla chimboti join up. There we go. Have your phone on landscape.
Hello.
Yebo mandla ndebi.
Abanye ndipa graffiti wangu saka I hope you don't mind me not showing my face.
No, tinabona dread chama, tiratize dread tuone.
Ndipa graffiti chama roko ndikuwa rori yangu bana. Roko ndipa
Ah.
graffiti.
Wamunzwa blaza ngachitaura uyo. What did you make of it?
Mvesi uyu anopenga ngachitaura. Mina ndiwandise first ndinyasotaura.
All right.
All right, inzwa wangu. Urikuona mvesi zvaari kutaura arikuda kutiudza nezvathokozani kuti thokozani akangokwapaidza kuti mamba ma2 chete ndiyo taada kuti kompea nezanu nekutadza kwakaita zanu ndiudze vanhu 1 nyange 2 vakavurayiwa nemdc wadi kumubvunza kuti vanhu vakavurayiwa nepati yake muzanu pf vangani mvesi asade kutihumanira instead anofanirwa kutotaura nesu mushi kwanzi thokozani wekwemdc hatina order isusu ngaasiyane nevanhu vemdc isusu asati ambopiwa mukana wokurwula nyange kawani germany. There's no day. Those I think president don't get a mistake. Could join up with our prime minister. I think beg ranga murumo nanga broko president wedu for which munhu wenyama neyaga kanganisa. Of course Thokozana meno takajutwa ni mamba 2 seconds. But ingawana chiri ku MDC yakadzingwa here. Ingazani PF yakadzinga vice president wavo military kapindira yakaita mashura for which military angu ndikufara takabvisa bobo. So asaya achida kutaura nezvepati yedu. Isusu atipana zvatakatadza nyange 1 day asati ambopiwa nyange day 1 ndokuti zviprova kuti tinogona basa kana tigone basa uri kuchinzwa here wangu.
But what did you make of point yake ari kutaura kuti point yakanga achitaura kuti hanzi this was a plan yekuti tibvise Mugabe zvazvakarongwa from kudhara because mudhara anga liability. Did you think anga ine point?
Zvinhu zvandikukunyepera wangu zvinhu zviri zvakangoitika I don't think zvanga zvakarongewa because maybe vaingoziva kuti zvichaitika but I don't think zvinhu zvakangojuma munhu wose wangu because hapana munhu aiziva kuti Mnangagwa achamuka achidzingwa next day nyange iye anga asingazive Mnangagwa anga akamira mudhara kuti afe chete kuti mudhara akangofa Grace anga asingapinde panyanga but pavakaita mistake yekumudzinga payapayaka vakabva vanyatsowa paplani yavaifungira kuti plani ichabuda wangu ndokuonawo kwangu ameno iwe uri kuionawo sei ipapo.
But what do you think? Do you think kuti muma 9 months or so that this guy will take over? Panita anga ite rich name soro man.
To be honest, I'll tell you something. This guy akaba mari kudhara. Saka mari is not something new to him. Let me tell you something. I don't like Mnangagwa. I don't like vanhu vakauraya nechichi akapedza vanhu vakawanda mukwekwe but this guy is a point to prove because the whole world is watching wangu. So andikunyepera 9 months 3 months is a very small time wekuti munhu ati chijute but even anokwanisa kuti juta for good 3 years but chicha achaita after 3 years wangu because Zimbabwe hatingorarami for 3 years isi toda kuzoraramo after 5 years from ipapo kana 10 years from ipapo because handikunyepera achaita mashura face you is even handikunyepera achaita zvinoshamisira but don't let izvozvo zvifule vanhu musarasise pakuvhota paipa kana muchivhota voterai muchiziva future yenyu because mufesi uyu he has a point to prove iye arikuda kusiya history yake arikuda kusiya anyatsonyora history yake because ari kuziva kuti iye nezanyu zvakamitira zvakaitwa Mugabe anoziva zvinokwanisa kuzviitirwa kwaari akasafambisa zvinhu sokuvafambisiro zvazvaita because people will march against him so he's not going to give us that reason wangu ndo maonero wangu because mufesi uyu ari kusvika kuzorova basa but ndikutaura kuti vanhu ngavazive kwakamira next day kana vachivhota wangu because mufesi uyu MDC ikaita zvokupusa zvairi kuramba yakaita so I like MDC but haina panchi wangu unoza iri kundirwadza mwoyo ndiri kungopopota ndirwa kunge ndini president weMDC pafacebook wangu yakanyarara kuti zi chamisa wacho anoti anofamba nebhora anoyapa live once a week hapana zvaanombotara paposti pake pafacebook totwanzi tobhotera munhu akadaro MDC yacho hamene zvairi kuita wangu ini handi kunyepera nepaka pane opposition ine power ine vanhu vakawanda seMDC ndaijoina ini but right now ndakungojoinawo MDC because hatina option MDC yacho yakapata zvokupata kunyarara kuzi even kana musina mari Facebook $10 mukapinda pafacebook mongotaura nevanhu but ameno unozvionawo sei wangu iwo.
No, I think on a point, and I think maybe this explains kuti pakaya Pastor Ivan I think kuti people were desperate for someone anova motivator, because I don't think kuti when the MDC they are putting in a lot of efforts to motivate vanhu. Saka I think even if you see how people were celebrating Anachiwenga Chaiwo, I think Zimbabweans want heroes. Zimbabweans are desperate for heroes, and anyone who does something vanoita worship, I think.
Ndochokwadi chacho hausitobonyepa wangu ndikuita ndishowa face kavasazoti ndiri ghost vanhu vakaipa wangu nonzi ghost account but andikunyepera zvemachokwadi chokwadi I think Mnangagwa ka vamunza speech yake once even we are even willing to give back mafarms kuti vamwe vaya vakatorerwa wamunzwa zvinotora chivindi kunyora izvozvo kutaura izvozvo amene maybe chirungu chandijamba but sekunzwa kwangu ati ada kudzorera mapurazi kune varungu for which akangodaro MDC yarasikirwa wangu because MDC ndo zvaiwinisa izvozvo kuti kwanzi irida kudzosera mapurazi kune varungu ndo zvaiwina nazvo manje iye Mnangagwa kati naye ada kudzorera mapurazi kune varungu apagara tori mpawa kudhara MDC yandikunyepera yapa nguva yakaoma wangu.
But I think Mnangagwa ati will compensate within the law. Saka, I think maybe Anga are very technical because within the law, you are just saying we are going to compensate, but I was very clear. Saka, I think it was a clever.
He was. That statement was clear. Wangu tingade kulitarisa tisingade mfesu yawo yaka kana vachidzorera mafamu achavadzorera and then we negotiate in the right way and what within the law because vanhu aya vangasafa kungomuka vakadzinga pamapurazi aya vaifangwa kuudzwa wopiwa time unzi ati uda kuevicta pafamu yako kana anga nematitle deeds efamu yaya munhu aya there's no way anotorera munhu kana anga nematitle deeds efamu kana kuti shamari mafamu achichitengeserai kana vachavapa bhegi but kana zvaramba kuti kana within the law unofangwa kumudzorera munhu famu yake wakamutorera wangu.
Okay, Mandla, I need to ask you one question. Hanzi na Mnangagwa let bygones be bygones. But vamwaruda hanzi ne role yako during Gukra wound waifana utanga ni apology. What do you make of that?
Let me tell you the truth, Wango. The only people who understand let bygones be bygones, it's our generation. The older generation, it's hard for them to forgive, Wango. Kuti vanhu vanyasa ungati zvinonetsa kuti munhu angoti let bygones be bygones wakavavurayira mhuri nechichi at this moment hatina option besides kuzama kushanda naye kumuregerera because tikasamuregerera munhu achaite sei avuraye more people is better off kana munhu achibvuma kuti zvakaitika hapana munhu achava akabvuma kuti guys ndakakukanganisira ipapa ndakakurayirai munhu akanga abvuma mhosva yake semunhu nechiloya ataura kuti ndakakanganisa for which it takes munhu wechirume mukabenga abva asina mboapologize zvakaita for kuground Mnangagwa is trying wangu kubvuma ari kuziva zvaakaita but sometimes in life unofangwa kungoregerero enemy tomubva on naye because it's not like tine option vanhu vane option yekumuregerera kana chii even mukasamuregerera munhu atova president kudhara it's not like mukati hatimuregerera anobva papresident saka kana is willing to work with people toshanda nepakasiro neye kana azorova teme yake ozobudawo tingadaro wangu because andikunyepera isusu generation yechechi dai akati atiregerera nei tinokwanisa kuiregera but the older generation andikunyepera inonetsa yaya you have to do a lot kuti vakuregerere I hope hazvida kunyasova specific zvandiri kuda kutaura but ukunzisa zvandiri kutaura kwandikuya.
No, I get you. Ko nyaya yemaslogan manje nyaya yemaslogan pasine mandu what do you think of that?
Pasi pemhandu iyaya right now mandu the only mandu anechiziva kana achitaura the mandu EMDC but ndaona twaingira achienda ikoko I think sekutaura kwake after nhasi I don't think acharova pasi pemhandu if he's trying to work ne-MDC sekuona kwangu ngediko, but I don't think it Morgan trying to invite kuenda kuya if he's not trying to work with them. I don't think Pastor Mandu chaita. I know that Pastor Mandu is signature yake yaya. Maybe sometimes anokwanisa kungoita kuti anakidze vanhu, but he doesn't really mean it with Pastor Mandu. Pana munhu anongove like I'll give you a very good example. Uyu anonzi Amichangwa anoti hauna cash, but haasi kureva in a bad way, but munhu ari kungoita majokes kuti hauna cash ingori signature yake munhu, because munhu wose Pastor Mandu signature yake Mnangagwa sokuziva kwangu.
Okay. All right, Mandla. Disturb by enough shamas dzoka kubasa. Thanks a lot.
Akanjizogere kubasa. Thank you wangu kawan. Have a good day wangu.
Iribo.
All right. Bye.
Okay, guys. So that was Mandla. That was meant to be my last call. Let's find someone to add to what Mandla is saying. Yeah, a lot of people expressing they agree with what Mandla was saying. Okay, guys. We don't forget tomorrow. I've got Thomas Mapfumo. He wants to give us his response to speech of Mnangagwa. So tomorrow, Saturday, I'm talking to Thomas Mapfumo. If there are other people that you want to suggest that I should talk to, let me know. Let me just quickly check. Here we go. Yeah, a lot of people are going to some comments. Okay, William Ponela. I'll give you at least 1 minute just to add. Okay, don't forget tomorrow while we're waiting for William, Thomas Mapfumo right here. He's going to give us his response to Mnangagwa's speech. Thomas. Or it's William Ponela. Phone on landscape. No. Okay, guys. So that's it for tonight. I think Tombo Zoro wrap up. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.